Hey guys, it's me Carly coming at you with another video, and today's video is going to be a movie review on Sinbad and the Legends of the Seven Seas. So just to give you a quick rundown on what the movie is about. So the movie is about Sinbad, well duh, because that's who the movie is named after, and the movie starts with him, and he is set up by the goddess of Eris, or goddess Eris, who is the goddess of chaos and discord, who sets him up and frames him for a crime he didn't commit, which is stealing the book of peace. And the movie starts out with Sinbad and his crew just, another day on the ship, finding his next target to rob, and basically, so that's basically his life. He's a thief. But he runs into this old friend of his from childhood they've gone their separate ways. He's a prince, and his friend is a prince, and Sinbad is a thief. And they haven't seen each other for like 10 years. And Sinbad is trying to steal the Book of Peace and run off with it to like Tartarus or Fiji or whatever. And so anyways, he ends up in this kingdom where his friend is the prince, and they're like really happy to see each other. But Eris, the goddess of chaos, disguises herself as Sinbad, steals the Book of Peace, and Sinbad is sentenced to death, even though it's a crime he did not commit. And but his friend ended up taking his place, of course. And he's like, come on, Sinbad, I know you... Okay, if you say you didn't steal this book, prove it to me. And I know you'd do the same for me. And this is the part of the movie where I'm like, Sinbad's an asshole. He says, his friend says, I know you would do the same for me. And Sinbad's like, no, I wouldn't. And I would be like, so Sinbad, you're okay with letting an innocent man die for a crime neither of you committed, as long as you get to run off to Fiji with your crew and bang a bunch of women, which is the impression I got from him. And I'm just basically going to be talking about the character of Sinbad and why he is not a good protagonist. But I really enjoyed the movie. I highly recommend it. I'm sorry I'm not brushed up on the character's name. I knew I should have taken notes. But Sinbad is not a good protagonist, and here's why. He is trying to rob his friend. No, Sinbad is greedy, selfish, and he basically embodies the traits of like the 7 deadly sins, and he's way too freaking prideful to ask Mariana, the girl he falls in love with eventually, which we'll get to the romance we'll get to the romance later. But Sinbad is just... he is okay letting his friend die in his place for a crime neither of them committed, and while he takes the boat and his crew to go run off to Fiji. And this is not just some random person. Not just some random person that he met like over 5 months ago. This is a person he has known. The person that he's willing to let die. This is a person he has known since he was a child. They were childhood friends. They were very close-knit. They were like brothers from what I've gathered. And they were like super close to each other. And this friend has your back. But all you can do is think to run off to Fiji and not return with the book. And you're okay with your friend being decapitated. Yeah. You're an asshole. But anyways, in this movie, the real hero in this movie is Mariana, because first off, she's gorgeous. She kind of looks like Regina, and from Once Upon a Time. And she is the real hero of this movie because if she hadn't snuck on the boat, Eris would have won. Every man on the show or in the movie would be dead because Eris creates a bunch of chaos. Like, one of the scenes is where she sends sirens to around Sinbad, which is to, for those of you, if you've ever read the story of the Odyssey, this guy named Homer basically is on an island. He's stranded on an island. He cheats on his wife because he's been stranded there for years. But sirens are like gorgeous mermaids who have gorgeous singing voices. And they hypnotize men into crashing their boats into rocks. And the sirens will kiss you and they will drown you. So that's lovely. But Mariana, because she is a woman, at least I think that's why, she is immune to the sirens, and she has to save the boat and save the crew, and she safely navigates. She helps them navigate their way to Tartarus, which is where the Book of Peace is being held captive. I know it's a book, but that's the best way I can put it. And without her, everyone would have freaking died. So, yeah. So, Sinbad would have just... If she had not got on the boat, Sinbad would have ran off to Fiji. And, like, Sinbad is so selfish. As long as Sinbad gets what he wants, and when Sinbad gets what Sinbad wants, when he wants it, he'll get it now. He'll have it. He does not care who he hurts in the process. He is not a good protagonist. And why did you even name this movie after him? Because he is a freaking asshole. You should have named it after Mariana, who is the real hero in this movie. Or, like, make the movie about Eris, because she is a phenomenal villain. I love her. And, by the way, Eris is, like, 10 times hotter, knowing that she is voiced by Michelle Pfeiffer, who, I'm pretty sure most of you know, played Catwoman in, like, the late 80s Batman movies. And it was freaking awesome. So, yeah. And, so things I liked about this movie. Mariana and Eris are my two favorite parts about this movie. Because Mariana felt more like the protagonist. Because she actually gets shit done. And she kind of reminds me of Jasmine. Like, she lives a good life. She's happy, basically. But she's in an arranged marriage. She is, not, what is it? She loves her family, but she just wants adventure. And she wants to explore the world, and she wants to marry for love. Kind of like Jasmine does. But her love interest, Sinbad, why? He comes off as a misogynistic douchebag, and she is just, she's hot and could, like, have any man she wanted. And just basically be nice. Well, not nice, but she basically could just be anything and everything that she wanted, and she could run her own ship, and she could be the captain and the leader, because she's a fearless leader. She has what it takes to run a crew. She is smart, resourceful, and, like, she even tells Sinbad, like, hey, Sinbad, all we need is some sap, tree sap to fix this boat, and it would be perfectly fine. But to Sinbad, like, I'm not going to take orders from a woman. Ha ha ha. Like, women are not made to be captains of this ship. I'm just like, Why is he the protagonist of this movie? Because he's not a good one. Like I've said, he's misogynistic. He is an asshole. And he just is. I just don't like Sinbad, okay? I don't like Sinbad, but I like the characters surrounding him. And I didn't even know that Brad Pitt was the voice of Sinbad, so that's pretty cool. And fitting. And do people actually find Sinbad hot? I mean, he's not terrible looking, but I don't find him all that handsome. I mean, he's cute, but he's not sexy to me. Like, Naveen from Princess and the Frog is sexy. But Sinbad is just, ugh, he's so arrogant. And he is just, and he doesn't even know the definition of loyalty. And I'm so glad that Eris set him up. Because Eris is freaking awesome. She has hair porn goals. And she is just, she is so damn gorgeous. I love her. But anyways, if you like this video, like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment down below. And I highly recommend this movie. And if you do watch this movie, I want to know your thoughts about Sinbad. I'm sorry I could not remember the full-on details. But yeah. Anyways, signing off. And have a good one.